Hello and welcome to Thursday's Knots Today with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you for joining us. If you're well today, here's what's on the show. First, we'll be seeing what the future holds for some of the county's brightest young adults as they receive their A-level results.
I got a distinction overall, which means I've got into university. I needed a merit. I'm really pleased and proud of everything that I've put in to get to here.
Oh, I remember that day well, all those years ago. I hope it went the way you wanted it to today. We'll have more on that story shortly. Plus, we'll be finding out all about an expedition through the Arctic that's helped raise thousands of pounds for a hospice. 5 people went to Lapland to support the Beaumont House Hospice in Newark, raising more than £12,000 in minus 26 degrees temperature. We'll be speaking to one of them and someone from the hospice in just a moment. Plus, later on, we'll be hearing all about an 8-day cycling festival running in Notts next month in memory of a local rider and former world champion. The Tom Simpson Charity Cycling Festival takes over Haworth in Bassett Law in September, and we'll be talking with his nephew Chris all about how the event continues his uncle's legacy. And that'll kick off a sports roundup for you, which features a huge League Cup tie for Mansfield Town. The Stags have been drawn against Premier League side Everton in the second round, making them the first lower league team to travel to the club's state-of-the-art new stadium. And we're also going to be hearing from cricketer Dylan Pennington about how it feels to be featuring for a Trent Rockets team in this year's hundreds competition.
It can be a tough place to play T20 cricket, so getting to know the angles, getting to know the pitches here, but it's a great place to play in terms of the crowd, and they get behind you when you're on top and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and yeah, the group's ready for that.
Well, we've got all that and loads more coming up just for you today. But first, and it's been a very exciting day for many students across Nottinghamshire today as A-level results stay swept across the country. Whether it's university or apprenticeships or entering the world of work, today offers opportunities for thousands of young people. So Jack Sims went to meet some of the hopeful students of Bluecoat Academy's sixth form, as well as the behind the scenes at NTU Clearing to give them advice for the next steps.
Results Day. A moment that many have either dreamed about or dreaded has finally arrived. And students at Bluecoat Aspley Academy were here bright and early, all eager to see what the future holds. A big moment for pupils and staff of the Archway Trust School, which, for the first time ever, are unveiling T-level results. These are courses that are a mix of classroom and work placement, but are the equivalent of 3 A-levels. The Academy is celebrating 100% of its T-level students receiving their first choice of university, including Scarlett Ward. She's on her way to Nottingham Trent University to study early years.
I got a distinction overall, which means I've got into university. I needed a merit. I'm really pleased and proud of everything that I've put in to get to here, because I didn't think I would, to be quite truthfully honest, but I'm really pleased with myself and all the effort I've put in and how far it has got me.
But regardless of the results, Principal Sarah Anderson says she's proud of everything the students have achieved.
Strong sense of family and belonging here at Bluecoat Aspley, and our alumni are very, very connected. They regularly come back to talk to our students to celebrate their successes and are still part of our extended family here at Bluecoat Aspley.
But for those who may not have gotten their first choice, Clearing is the place to be. This call centre has more than 200 phones ringing, with those on the other end all hoping to join Nottingham Trent University. The university says it's shaping up to be one of the busiest yet, with more and more students looking to explore their options rather than go for their first choice.
What's emerging as a trend is actually people applying to university for the first time through Clearing, so we're seeing fresh applicants come through. I think they're more informed about choices. It is a time to reflect on, actually I chose my firm offer several months ago. I've now been to open days and gone around and toured campuses, and actually I feel more comfortable and like I'll be happier at this particular university. So it's really important they make the right choice for themselves.
And for those current students answering the calls, the shared experience of Results Day mean they know exactly how to support others.
We understand that people on the other sides of the phones can be very stressed about getting a placement and things like that. So it definitely helps that we're keeping a calm pace as students who've been through the same thing and be able to offer them some comfort.
So whether it's their first choice or their last, it's an open sky of possibilities for many students across Nottingham. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Thank you, Jack. And if you got your results today, I hope they went the way you wanted them to. Right, from A-levels to the Arctic now, as we take our first great chat of the show. And we meet one of 5 people who braved sub-zero temperatures to take on an expedition in Lapland. David Wathen was one of the people who took on the challenge, testing his endurance by towing a sledge with about 30 kilos of supplies, and all to help in raising more than £12,000 for the Beaumont House Hospice in Newark. And David joins me now to tell us how it went, alongside Louise Sinclair, who's the Chief Executive at the hospice. Thank you both for joining us. David, let's start with you first. Tell us about this epic challenge.
Right, so, well, it's the 3rd challenge I've done for Beaumont House. So I've done the Sahara Desert Trek, the Annapurna Sunrise Trek, and now this Arctic Trek, which was, to me, the most challenging, certainly. And the main reason for that was the temperatures, the sub-zero temperatures I was expecting, but when it got to minus 26 degrees on one night, it really was pretty horrendous, actually.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to have been to Lapland, but I was fully wrapped up. We were lucky enough to see Father Christmas, and it was freezing, but we were in and out of lovely hot places having, cups of tea. I imagine you weren't, and you're pulling something really heavy behind you as well.
Yeah, during the day, it's not so bad because you're moving. So, you keep your temperature up then. But as soon as you stop for camp, and the temperature starts to plummet and you're relatively stationary, that's when it gets really bad. And even with extra layers, we got to the stage where we were uncontrollably shaking and so on.
And when you say camp, are you talking about tents?
We're talking about a single fabric tent, yes, with sleeping bags, which were very good sleeping bags. But we didn't actually get undressed the whole time. It was a 5-day trek, and it was that cold. It was that cold.
I mean, that does sound absolutely incredible. What inspired you to take on this challenge? Because like you say, you've done a couple of other challenges, which sound like very hot challenges. Yeah,
well, I'm always up for a challenge. I'm a retired GP now, so, got plenty of time to deliberate about these things.
Could just go in the garden, David.
My wife did suggest I ought to be camping in the garden as practice, but I didn't go that far. But I'm not sure it would have prepared me for what I undertook. And even though, looking back, it was an amazing experience, I know it was purgatory at the time. And certainly within our group, we were, we had some anxiety, particularly at night when we, got into our sleeping bags. And we didn't sleep well.
No, I can imagine there was not a lot of sleep. So there were definitely some challenging moments. What would you say the best bit was about your challenge?
The best bit was, I think, being with the people I was with, because they were all such positive individuals. I'd never met them before. There were 2 couples. Wow. And instantly we became friends and very supportive of the whole thing. And nobody was negative about anything. It was really good. Yeah.
And of course, you raised an awful lot of money as well. Louise, what can you tell us about the hospice?
Well, Beaumont House serves Newark and Sherwood, and we care for people with life-limiting conditions, both in the hospice and in their own homes. And so we're so grateful to David and the other 4 for undertaking this remarkable challenge to raise over £12,000 for us.
I mean, that will make a difference. What will that £12,000 be used for?
Well, we're a nurse-led unit, so that will pay for patient care. It'll go towards food for patients, activities, and running of the hospice, which is a 24-hour care.
And it really is an incredible thing. We're lucky enough to have various hospices on the show talking about the incredible work they do. And we know it's really tough times for hospices. But if you have ever had the experience of using them, which, obviously you work with them, David, you as well, and I have as well, they are incredible places, and I don't know what we would do without them. So these fundraising experiences are just so important, aren't they?
They absolutely are. We are part funded by the NHS, but it's only a small fraction of what we have to create to run the hospice, which is 2.8 million every year.
Wow.
So our community are incredibly supportive and do all sorts of things to help raise money for us, as well as volunteer their time and talents.
Amazing. Now, if people want to find out more about your epic challenge, I guess there's still time to sponsor you?
Actually, the sponsor's finished now.
Okay.
But people can always donate to Beaumont House.
Okay. And how do we find out more about Beaumont House?
Well, we have a big blue door that is open, so please call in and see us, 32 London Road in Newark, or you can go on our website, beaumonthouse.co.uk.
Amazing. Well, I think your challenge has been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for coming and telling us about that. And Louise telling us about the charity as well, so thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
All right, in other Notts news now, and a woman has been charged after money was stolen from a pub's charity box in Mansfield. Nottinghamshire police were called to a pub in Clumber Street at about 8:15 last Friday evening after reports of the theft. Officers arrived and found the box was empty before a suspect was arrested. 42-year-old Emma Crowder, who lives in Sherwood Street in Mansfield, was then charged with theft. She appeared in Nottingham Magistrates Court on Monday and will appear in the same venue again on August the 29th. Next, and a speeding driver who caused the death of an extremely devoted family man has been jailed. Vasily Predwi was struck by a car driven by 26-year-old Zachariah Navid as he sped along Alfreton Road in Bobbers Mill in wet and dark conditions back in March 2023. The collision inflicted catastrophic injuries on the 66-year-old, which caused him to die at the scene. Investigations found Navid was travelling double the speed limit and was uninsured. He admitted to causing death by careless driving and whilst uninsured and was jailed for 26 months in Nottingham Crown Court this week. All right, it's time for a short break now, but don't go anywhere because when we get back, we're going to be hearing why an 8-day cycling festival is taking over part of Notts next month. It's an incredible 8 days as well. Plus, we've got your sports roundup, including a rather tasty second round League Cup tie for Mansfield Town. All of that, everything you need to know, and a lot of cricket as well. We're looking forward to the 100. All of that and more on the way next. Hello, welcome back to Thursday's show with me, Emma Calder. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you've had a good day so far. Here's what's happening in Notts today. First, and residents across Rushcliffe are being asked to give their say on plans to tackle antisocial behaviour across the borough. Rushcliffe Borough Council is renewing its public space protection order aimed at clamping down on public nuisance for another 3 years. These are legal tools used by local authorities to target antisocial behaviour, street crimes and things like street drinking and public urination. It gives police and council officers the ability to fine people as much as £100 with a consultation running on the authority's website. Next, and a stable block and boothies at Woollerton Hall will get urgent repair works after Nottingham City Council approved a £295,000 improvement programme. The Grade 2 listed buildings will receive essential maintenance following structural surveys that identified pressing concerns with the roof and associated areas. The work will be funded entirely from approved reserves, meaning no additional borrowing is required. The buildings form part of the Elizabethan Mansion grounds, with the stables used for visitor facilities, staff offices and storage. Right, moving on now, and it is time for our second great chat of the show, and we're about to talk all things cycling. That is because next month, Harworth in Bassett Law will be home to an 8-day event in memory of a local rider who, in 1965, became the first British man to wear the world champion's rainbow jersey. Tom Simpson's rise from Harworth to the world stage paved the way for British cycling's modern success, with next month's cycling festival all about celebrating his legacy. And I'm really pleased to say joining us now to tell us all about it is his nephew, Chris Sidwells. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're totally welcome. Tell us about your Uncle Tom.
Well, it's just an amazing story. I mean, to put the victory in the World Championships in 1965 in context, he was the first British cyclist ever to win that title. Wow. And only Sir Mark Cavendish has won it since. He's the only other British cyclist to have won that. Tom's story, he was a coal miner's son. Found he had a talent for cycling. 16-year-old, he started to win races. At 18, he was in Melbourne for the 1956 Olympic Games. That was his first trip abroad. Wow. He won a bronze medal when teenagers did not win medals in the Olympic Games. 2 years later, he's one of the leading professionals in Europe and wins a race called the Tour of Flanders, which is one of the monuments of the sport, at his first attempt at the age of 23, and that's just not done. Even current riders, this young generation, haven't done that. He went on to win two more of these monument races. Only Mark Cavendish has won one since. He was the first British cyclist to wear the yellow jersey in the Tour of France, and with his world title, he was also the first cyclist ever to be the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Goodness me. In 1965, so 60 years ago, in this winter that will come in. he was the #1 sports person in the country.
I mean, it's incredible. Safe to say the World Championship win in '65 changed British cycling forever.
It just showed what was possible. Of course, this story, as many people know if they're into cycling, ends in tragedy. With him, his next big thing was to try to win the Tour de France so he could get back in that limelight again. And he died in the attempt in 1967 on Mont Ventoux.
And even now, people lay flowers there.
They do lay flowers there. It is there's a monument that we look after. We've got a Thompson Memorial Fund that we look after. We've got permission of all the people, and it's the 4th most visited monument in France.
Wow.
To a British cyclist.
Incredible. I mean, you are keeping his legacy alive. Tell us about this incredible 8-day event that's happening.
Well, we start, it centres around the Thompson Retro Weekend, which we've been doing for 4 years now. This is the 5th edition. But this year, to make it special, we've had an 8-day festival. We've got to start off with cyclo-sportive events, which are semi-race events for standard bikes and people over lots and lots of 3 different distances, going into the Wolds, following some of the routes that Tom used to do. We've got community events during the week, and then we've got the Simpsons Cycling Festival. Part of the thing there on the Saturday afternoon, we've got ex-professional cyclists from all over the country, world champions themselves, Olympic medalists, come and they do little bits of interview on stage with me, and they mingle. And the most wonderful thing about it, that is just 2 days of smiles and people enjoying, sharing their retro bikes and their interest in cycling, celebrating Tom's life. There's a cyclist market. And lots of other things. We've even got team cars from the 1960s and 70s, support vehicles, and race-winning retro bikes. And a lot of the ex-professionals that have been in the past are actually coming back to ride it.
That's incredible. I mean, that's an incredible feat just to organise as well. Who's the event aimed at? People who are really serious cyclists, or like me and my family who like to get out on our bikes?
Well, there is some of that. The community events, certainly that. And on the Saturday evening, we're putting on kids cyclocross racing on the sports field near the thing. That's like, you know, free to enter. You get cash prizes because cycling's all about making money, and you know, just join that atmosphere. Bring your children.
It sounds amazing. What does it mean to you and your family to keep Tom's legacy alive?
We want to do it. We want to do it because we're enormously proud of him. He was a British sports hero, and you know, it's something. And I've worked 20 years now as a cycling journalist, written tons of books. I've been all around Europe, worked on all these big races, and what fires me up is it's wonderful to meet the people who knew him and his fans, and he's still, you know, just a massive name over there, really celebrate. And I want to get that same feeling in this country as well.
Amazing. Remind us when and where it's happening and how we can get hold of tickets and information.
Right, it's happening from the 8th to the 14th of September. Go on cyclinglegends.co.uk, look for Tom Simpson Festival, and you can buy the various tickets, you can enter the rides, or some of the tickets are free, but we want you to register because places are...
Amazing. Chris, thank you so much for coming and telling us about that. Appreciate your time today. All right, it's time for some more sport now, and we are starting with cricket as fans prepare for the 100 to return to Trent Bridge this weekend. The Trent Rockets are in action today when they take on London Spirit at Lord's before welcoming Southern Bridge to Nottingham on Saturday. And speaking ahead of that one, Notts cricketer Dylan Pennington says he's really looking forward to featuring for the Rockets at his home grounds and knows the power of the supporters in the stands.
It's a little bit different when you play at the ground, and we've playing championship cricket a couple of days ago, but it's nice to be here in a different kit with a new group, and yes, it's going to be an exciting month. It's good. It's always nice, sort of this stage of the season, sort of having that different group, and re-energises stuff, and it's definitely nice when you go back to Notts and you get that energy back in the group. But yeah, it's been a good couple of days actually. We had a meal last night and to get to know the lads, and then today full flow and get ready to training, and then into the practice game tomorrow. It can be a tough place to play T20 cricket, so getting to know the angles, getting to know the pitches here, but it's a great place to play in terms of the crowd, and they get behind you when you're on top and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and yeah, the group's ready for that.
And we're sticking with cricket, and the Notts Outlaws, who suffered their second successive one-day cup defeat after losing to Leicestershire. Notts travelled down the A46 looking to bounce back after defeat to another East Midlands rival in Derbyshire on the weekend, but lost the match by 124 runs against a strong Foxes side. The hosts set the Outlaws a target of 334 runs thanks to a century by former Notts player Sol Buddingham. The Outlaws were unable to respond though and were bowled out for 209 runs after 38 overs. Into football now, and Mansfield Town have just been given a very juicy League Cup second round tie after being drawn against Premier League side Everton. The Stags will travel to the newly constructed Hill Dickinson Stadium, which hosts its first game next weekend when Everton take on Brighton in the Premier League. The second round tie comes after Mansfield beat local rivals Chesterfield in the first round on Tuesday, with the Stags to become the first lower league side to travel to Everton's new stadium. That'll take place in 2 weeks' time. Next, Anna Notts fan who was airlifted to hospital after falling ill at their opening game against Newport has been discharged from hospital. An air ambulance landed on the pitch at Rodney Parade when the two sides clashed nearly a fortnight ago, with Magpies fan Stephen Silver suffering a medical emergency before the match. 2 days later, Notts County confirmed he was responding well to treatment before confirming this week that he's been discharged from hospital and is doing well. All right, elsewhere on the channel, and we recently aired a brand new episode of the Notts TV debate. Francis Finn was on our holidays, so Mark Dennison stepped into the hot seat to discuss some of the biggest issues hitting the local, national and international headlines. You can catch the full show on demand and on our YouTube channel right now, but here's some of their discussion on protecting the countryside from housing.
You talk about that, I live in Mansfield, and they've now just announced there's going to be over 1,000 homes built on 617, and that's taking away all the greenery around that area, which I think is awful, because at the minute we're just going to become a Lego land eventually. There's going to be no green spaces. It's all right building the houses, but where's the schools? Where's the doctors?
All that infrastructure.
Around, yeah, there's not. Yeah. So we can have as many houses as we like, but where is the rest of it? And I'm not being funny, but I wouldn't want to be in a house and I can see into somebody else's bedroom across the road. You know, I want to see greenery. Yeah. I want to see, the nice land. Why are we doing this? We're destroying our own country. We really are. It's all right, builders making money, but I don't want to live in a Lego land. Would you, Marcus?
No, not at all. I can see that the problem, the houses have got to be built somewhere. What about the brownfield sites? You know, are they being fully exploited? Although personally, the housing estate I live on, many decades ago, used to be green fields. So it's difficult to sort of argue.
And of course you can catch the debates on demand right now or on our YouTube channel. Right, it's time for your picture of the day now. Look at that, beautiful sky. Sunset taken by Ian Stevens over at Lawn Master Notts. Thanks for that, Ian. And in your weather today, it's been a warm one today, hasn't it? Temperatures cooler than the past few days though. Sunny spells this evening with a high of 24 degrees and overnight lows of 16. Heading into Friday, those temperatures heading back up. We'll have full sunshine throughout the day with a high of 29 and lows of 16. Sunscreen on, slightly cooler again on Saturday with sunny spells at a high of 24, dropping to 13 overnight. And that is the end of the show today. Thank you, as always, to our brilliant guests. I will be back with you tomorrow to guide you into the weekend. But until then, from everyone here on the Notts Today team, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm Emma Caldwell. Bye-bye.